All right, thank you. Next, we will hear from Alex Bradshaw.
I want to thank the Metro Council for giving me the time and space to speak in favor of raising the minimum wage. My name is Alex Bradshaw, and I'm a concerned citizen and healthcare worker. The fight to raise the minimum wage is about one thing: economic justice. And economic justice, as American as apple pie, this is basically rooted in our DNA. Abraham Lincoln, for example, said, "All that harms labor is treason to America." President Grover Cleveland, concerned about big business trampling on workers, said, "Corporations, which should be the carefully restrained creatures of the law and the servants of the people, are fast becoming the people's masters." Our policymakers have certainly deviated from these lofty 19th century ideals. Economic justice is as American as the civil rights movement. In fact, economic justice is the unfinished business of the civil rights movement. Poverty impacts people of color and other marginalized groups at a disproportional rate. To quote the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, raising the minimum wage will disproportionately impact people of color, women, LGBT individuals, and other disadvantaged groups, and 28% of African American workers and 32% of Latino workers would benefit. Many of our fellow workers making the minimum wage do live in poverty, despite what many of these business owners have said tonight. And the stakes are particularly high for those living in poverty. The American Journal of Public Health reported in 2011 that roughly 300,000 deaths in the year 2000 were attributed to simply living poor in America. 2000 was likely not an anomaly year. For this reason, it's a moral imperative to raise the minimum wage. However, studies suggest raising the minimum wage is also sound economics. In 2013, the Center for American Progress published findings that analyzed 91 states that raised the minimum wage from 1987 to 2012. The results showed that 47 of the states in which the minimum wage was raised, unemployment rates dropped. In another 4 states, unemployment rates stayed the same. Louisvillians likely would want to know the impact of the raise being waged in Kentucky. When the minimum wage was raised in Kentucky, both in 1991 and 2009, the unemployment rate dropped in both cases. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that true compassion is more than flinging a coin to a beggar. It comes to see that an edifice which produces beggars needs restructuring. We'll likewise say that when the world's largest economy pays full-time workers poverty wages, it too must be restructured. Fortunately for those working for poverty wages, this process is already happening in the U.S. Lastly, we must continue this progress by raising the wage here in Louisville if we call ourselves a progressive and a compassionate city. Without action, this is merely lip service. The time for action is now. The time to raise the minimum wage is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.